Hi, I'm Question Telka, owner of Reconcile Financials, a bookkeeping and accounting firm specializing in nonprofit and real estate investment. I make these videos to help empower clients, bookkeepers, and other accounting professionals. Today's video is for frequent users of QuickBooks Online and bookkeepers and accountants using QuickBooks Online. I'm actually really excited about this one because while I was in the process of trying to solve an issue getting the billable expense function to work, I found a way to view and use the old QuickBooks Online chart of accounts, which I actually really prefer. I was not aware that this was a possibility, and I feel like a lot of other people weren't aware as well. I also don't think a lot of people are probably aware of this billable expense function issue. And so I'm going to cover both of those areas. And in the process, I'm assuming that you have a basic knowledge of how the billable expense function works in QuickBooks Online. So I'm not going to go through and explain how it works and what it does, but I am going to show you what I came across and how to fix it. So while I was setting up a new QuickBooks Online file for a client, I came across this billable expense function issue. This particular client really wanted to and needs to be able to track expenses by billable expense. And typically speaking, what you would do is set that up in your accountant settings first, and then you would need to go into the particular expense account that you wanted billable expenses to flow through. You would turn that on, and in this particular case, you would then choose the income account that they wanted it to be associated with. So what would then happen is when they categorize the expense and associated it with a customer and then billed the customer, the expense would be recorded, or the payment from the customer would be recorded to the income account rather than netting in the expense account. So in the process of setting that up, I had a little trouble and I couldn't get it to work, and I'll show you exactly what happened. So if you go into the chart of accounts and you just choose a particular expense account and edit, you can see looking at the setup screen that there's no option here anymore like there used to be in the old chart of accounts to make the expense billable and then choose the income account from the drop down that you want those expenses associated with. So I thought, okay, maybe I forgot to turn it on. Maybe I didn't save it. So I'm going to go take a look at the account and settings. If I go into my expense section, you can see I do in fact have it turned on to track billable expenses and items as income, and I have chosen multiple accounts. So my setup is correct, but it's still not showing up in the chart of accounts. And if we go into the bank feed now and try to categorize it, let's just choose any of these. And choose fuel since that's what we were working on already. Associate it with a customer, make it billable. And let's watch what happens. Oh, you get a message flash that you can't read. But I'm not going to bore you with what I had to do, but I clicked it about 20 times and read it so I could actually figure out what it said. And what it said was, you don't have this billable expense is not associated with an expense account. So we can't make this billable because it isn't associated with an expense account in which that function has been turned on. So it was a little frustrating and I just couldn't figure out how to do it. I called support. And so ultimately what I found out was, which I was completely unaware of, if you go into the gear icon and you switch to business view, this is completely counterintuitive in my opinion. And you go into the chart of accounts, and clearly I don't even know how to get there in the business view. And you edit, we're going to just use the same one. You get the old chart of accounts window, which again, I much prefer. I never go into the business view because I'm an accountant. And so I'm always using the accountant view. But apparently the old chart of accounts is available in the business view. So if you need to set up your billable expense, you have to switch into the business view in order to do that. And if you're like me and you like the old chart of accounts and you're building out new files or you're making changes to the chart of accounts, then apparently switching to business view is the way to do it. It seems to me like they should be reversed, that the old chart of accounts should be in the accountant view and the new chart of accounts should be in the business view. I don't know what the reasoning behind that choice was, but it just seems to me like that would make the most sense. So I hope that this is helpful and enlightening for some of you as much as it was for me. I'm very excited about it. And now, as you can see, I have this option to use for billable expenses, and I can choose the income account that I want to have associated with it. And I was able to get it up and running and fixed for my client. So I would love to hear in the comments if you guys have any questions. I would also be interested to hear if anyone knew about this. Maybe I'm just late to the game on this one, but I was unaware and I spoke to a few other people that also were. So I would love to hear if you guys knew about it and if you also feel like it's a game changer for you. Thank you so much for watching these videos in order to share my knowledge with all of you. And so I hope that you will subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on social media. I'll leave that information in the description. If you're interested in hearing more about the services we offer at Reconcile Financials, you can do so by going to our website at reconcilefinancials.com or sending an email to info@reconcilefinancials.com. Thanks.